Kia ora and welcome to Constellations and All That. I'm your host, Tracy Cartwright, and together we will be exploring the world of family constellations with and clients from around the world, looking at different perspectives and experiences in the work, having a cup of tea and just chatting with some friends around their experiences in constellations. We'd love for you to join us. I hope that you enjoy this series as much as I have loved making it. Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to Constellations and All That. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with my colleague here, Maia, who's based in Aotearoa, New Zealand also. So, Maia, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, I also live in New Zealand at the other island, top of the South Island, but I am originally from Germany, and I lived in Switzerland, in England, in London, until I finally moved here to enjoy the lifestyle in New Zealand. And it's wonderful that we connect here, and there's quite a little community going on, right, in New Zealand of Family Constellation enthusiasts, which is amazing.
It's really starting to grow, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you're based Picton. You're just saying sort of outside of Picton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. How long have you been constellating? How long have you been facilitating?
Ooh, okay, wow. It's so that's over 20 years now. Let me just recap. Probably 23 years, I would say.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It all started in Switzerland when no, it started actually much earlier. What am I saying? My first constellation was actually much earlier, probably another 15 years earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, or 10, at least 10. Yeah, so I've been introduced to family constellations through a friend, also a colleague. I'm a lawyer. I was a lawyer in Germany for commercial law. And my friend, she was training as a facilitator with somebody in Hanover, was it? And I loved the books from Bert Hellinger. I read them all. I found them absolutely amazing. But it never clicked that it is a practical application to me. It just didn't click. But she was studying it with somebody. So, and that's now I remember. See, you forget these things when they heal. It's like amazing. It's like gone as if it has never happened.
Yeah.
So I had actually psoriasis on my hands and feet at that time as a young lawyer, and it was horrible. It was very severe. I couldn't walk. It was the bare flesh on my feet. Had to wear gloves on my hands. Very, wasn't good for my career at all. And painful, of course. Yeah, treatments were so you get a little bit better, but it never gets away. And then one day I visited her and she said, "Oh, why don't you have a constellation?" And I said, "Okay, well, I didn't know what she was doing. We were working with the figurine board at that time, and I learned it from her later how to use figurines. So we constellated something. I had no clue what was going on. It was something with my mother to do, and an ex-lover of her I never heard of. I thought, well, that's all very weird. Like, I don't know, 6 weeks later or so, it was gone. My psoriasis gone. It was all healed to never return since ever then. As you do, and you know that when you work with clients, you go and you enjoy your life as if it was never anything wrong, right? So at that time, I didn't even connect it to the constellation. And then years later, when I met my my husband, we wanted to have a family, of course. And and I did not get pregnant for 5 years, no medical reason, as it is, And then again, she said, "Why don't you do a constellation?" And I said, "Oh, now I remember. Oh my gosh, I had one with you once. And actually, I think my skin healed completely after that. This kind of everything kind of clicked together." Yeah. And I said, "You're right, I should do that." So we went there to a weekend workshop in Switzerland. And lo and behold, 6 months later, I was pregnant with my beautiful son, which is now grown up, 22 years old. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so I had this amazing two constellations that completely changed my life, and I was determined to know more about it. And
Mm,
because where I lived that time in Switzerland was very close to Bert and Sophie Hellinger. They are um, in Bavaria, and I was in German part of Switzerland near Zurich. And so I started, and they just launched their university study. So they have, in cooperation with the university in Brussels, the Jean Monnet University, um, for for unusual topics, if you will, subjects.
yeah.
They
Okay.
have just created this course where you can certify with a bachelor degree. And I thought, yeah, that's fantastic. I do that. That's exactly that's my next step. Yeah. Forget
Yeah.
about the lawyer. I want to do something that is much more meaningful than that. Yeah. And then I studied and I was absolutely fascinated. Yeah, I had a wonderful time. I had some project with Bert and Sophie Hellinger going, lovely people. He's an outstanding, he passed away, an outstanding spirit, I have to say. Um, and I learned so much, and I had to follow them over Europe, traveling for there was not much theory, there was like, he said, watch me consolating 200 hours, and you know what to do.
Yeah.
And read, of course, the 50 plus books that he wrote at that time, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a couple of practice meetings, but that was it. And so that's what I did, right? I followed him all over Europe. And we had some intimate sessions. We had some huge sessions with, I don't know, 300 people in the room. And yeah, and then I soaked it all up and gained this degree. And since ever then, I worked for others with it. Very, very fulfilling work. Very successful work for the
Mm,
clients. It's wonderful to see how they just, step into their life and feel less burdened and freer and make choices instead of being directed by some invisible forces. And
yeah.
yeah, so that's in the nutshell my life. I have then in COVID created Family Constellation Virtual,
Mm,
obviously, because we were all bound to the house. And I found out how super effective the work is also online in groups and in one-on-ones. And that was quite actually a surprise to me. But obviously, in hindsight, why would it be any different? Because the
mm,
field is definitely present outside of space and time. So
mm.
logically, it works online as much as in person.
So
So
you weren't working online before COVID?
no, not really. It was
Yeah.
not really a thing. Bird, of course, never. I mean, that was not existing then. Always
Yeah.
worked in person, and he
Mm,
also always facilitated groups. So my one-on-one work, I really go back. The skills that I gained in working one-on-one was from my friend there, who showed me how to use the figurines, and then I developed it from there
yeah.
myself. And so with Family Constellation Virtual, then also came the demand of students to be like taught to facilitate. And then I realized that there's a great demand to learn the method in the most authentic way possible. Because as you know, family constellation is used for many, many things. And if you
Yeah.
really the word, the name, and if you really ask what's going on there, then you find out, oh my gosh, that has actually not to do with what Bert Hellinger has created, right? So that was my passion because I'm very dedicated disciple of Bert Hellinger, and my passion to create a course that is very close to his teaching, where
Hmm.
I can convey the essence of the orders of love. That is his finding, to my students so they can apply it with their clients and it can spread the word and can survive this diversity that we are all exposed to through the
Yeah.
World Wide Web and the
Yeah.
networking and the social connection, right? Yeah, and that is all under familyconstellationvirtual.com, a very comprehensive 2 years training for those who want to be certified. And then there's also online trainings with courses for those who just want to have a insight in some specific topics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's brilliant. And it's such a great offering. Such a great offering. How would you how do you describe family constellations? Because it's one of those questions I get such a variety of answers. You know, we all have our unique way of saying it. So how would you describe it to someone that you're meeting for the first time and they ask you, what do you do?
Yeah. And then I said, I'm facilitating family constellation and I'm training facilitators. And then they said, they often don't dare to ask what it is because they don't want to look daft. But yeah, sometimes I am asked what it is from people who are really honest and interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my short answer in a nutshell is it is a methodology to look at, find, and heal intergenerational trauma. And
Nice and easy, nice and simple. It's
that's it,
great.
really it, right? That's
Mhm.
it. And everything else is how you do it and working with the morphogenetic field and how is it even possible. So if somebody is really interested in family constellation, which is actually not often the case, people who are interested know about it. But
Mm.
if you spark an interest just by explaining what family constellation is in a nutshell, then I'm very happy to explain further. And then I would explain that we are working with the morphogenetic field, that a field is that we are all exposed to in many, many fields, like we know from Rupert Sheldrake, who has, as a biologist from the Uni
Mm.
Oxford, he has done lots of studies with the morphogenetic field, and he has proven that animals, plants, and people, we are all part of many, many fields around us. This is the fields that hold information. And in family constellation, we are working with the specific fields that are governing a family system. And what a family system is that Bert Hellinger, and Bert Hellinger was actually working quite closely with Rupert Sheldrake at that time. So I saw them often communicate and converse about it. So in terms of family wounds and healing intergenerational trauma, that is where the field of the family system is at play, right? So this field that contains the traumatic information of a family. And the
Yeah.
family system is a defined field. It's not what we think about a family, like mother, father, children, grandchildren, and maybe the grandparents. It's a different system, and that's gifted by Bert Hellinger and his life work to find out who belongs to a family system, which is actually the first order of love. And that is an important part of the work that hopefully facilitators are able to see the significance of it. You can only work with the family members of a family, otherwise the work is incoherent. It doesn't reveal any intergenerational trauma, if you will, right? Because that is the information that is held for these family members in the morphogenetic field. And
Mm.
the way we work is that we are resonating with this field. It's a natural ability, like breathing, so nothing special to learn or anything like that. Everybody can do that right away. And you receive an information in form of a gesture, an emotion, a thought. It could be anything. And the experienced and the well-educated facilitator is translating that language of the soul into plain English, if you will, right? And then
Mm.
we find this connection in past and present family members that are causing this burden that one is suffering under, and using the orders of love of Bert Hellinger to mend them in forms of adding what is missing most often, and that is allowing the flow of love again through the generation. And with this flow of love comes also life force and happiness and freedom to the family system and to the descendants and to the future generation even.
Mm.
So this work is also fantastic to release future children, grandchildren from any burden.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Love
Mm.
that description as well. Feel free to say you don't want to answer this if you don't want to. How have you seen this work affect your family system, like, or what have been the gifts from this for you? Obviously, your
Huge.
lovely son.
Exactly. Huge, huge. If I look back who I was in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s, I'm a completely different person. I think
Mm.
differently, I feel differently, I create differently. There is no drama in my life since I started Family Constellation. I'm completely not present. I'm thriving towards freedom and happiness, and nothing seems to be in the way for me. So I can create. That's the objection, right? You are here as an individual soul to create a unique life through or with the gifts that you've been given to help yourself and others to evolve and make this place a better place, and help animals, for example, and other people, and uplift them and be kind and compassionate. And that is all healing properties. And you can only do that when you are unburdened by trauma. If
Mm.
a soul is traumatized, there is no room for creativity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
My
not.
ears pricked up when you said to help animals.
Mhm.
Are you referring to constellating them?
The moment I'm more on a day-to-day basis. For
Right.
example, run an animal sanctuary, and I'm a long-term
Ah,
vegan, and so
yeah.
my journey actually started. My journey towards compassion started with compassion towards, which now spreads with the work over to people,
Yeah.
compassion to people as well. I have not. Yes, I do actually. I have not. Yes, I have. Sorry, what am I saying? I did work for animals and with animals in a constellation. I do remember a few times where
Mm.
that was fantastic. When we work with animals in the family constellation, they are placeholders for a member of the family system. But we
Hmm.
don't need to necessarily know who that is. The wonder of this work is that, or the challenge for some actually, is that we are not using the mind a lot. Yeah, so we are not looking for explanation for the mind. We let the soul speak, and the soul
Yeah.
move towards reconciliation, towards honor and respect. That's what we allow. And the mind, as Bert would say, stays behind, puzzled. Yeah. And I
Mm.
like to say to my workshop participants, especially in the in-person workshops, yeah, when you come here and we work on this day together, you leave your mind out the door together with your shoes.
Get up on the way out.
Exactly. And you slip in your shoes and you grab your mind after this day on your way out. And that doesn't mean that you are like a numb zombie. That just means that you not necessarily get in a constellation enough food for the mind to think it through and to
Mm.
understand everything. As I have experienced from my both first family constellation myself, where I understood nothing, yeah, how amazingly effectful they were. I actually
Mm.
prefer if the client doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's that intellectual. I'm trying to break it down and trying to understand it rather than
Yeah.
receiving it on the soul level, isn't it? Yeah.
Always not. It's all. And if we think about family constellation work not as a method to release individual burdens, but as a method to release intergenerational trauma, then we know that the client who's consulting us, and you know that, Tracy, from your clients as well, they are messenger. They are
Mm.
messenger from their family system.
Mm. Yeah.
And when we work with them, we allow the family system to tell us what they want to hear. And it's not necessarily what the client came from for, right? But
Yeah.
we know that when this is healed, this family wound is healed, that the client will benefit from it, yeah, in certain ways. That is out of our hands, of course. And it's a path, and anyhow, it's not a one pill fix it all thing. Although it sometimes sounds like it when I say, "Oh, my psoriasis went, and then I got pregnant." It feels like it, but it's still a journey. I mean, there's
Oh,
so much more
yeah.
than to do.
Yeah. Have you come across ones where it's like you do a layer and then another layer pops up for the same one? Or because sometimes it's like there's a layer there, you've done a constellation and boom, something moves, like you say, your psoriasis. And then other times it's like I do a layer and all of a sudden there's something else that needs to come and it's all connected to that one thing, but it's another layer of it or another angle from it. Yeah.
Yes, that is actually the nature of the work, I would say. All right. I like to explain it. That's another way to explain family constellation for those who are really, really interested and in a conversation. Don't give up asking me. I say, well, family constellation is peeling an onion as opposed to peeling an orange. If you have an orange here, you have one peel and you want to peel it because there is a sweet flesh underneath and you want to indulge into the sweet flesh. And in order to get there, you need to peel it. So here you go. You peel the orange, you have the sweet flesh, you enjoy it. Yeah. And you think, that's it. That's exactly what I wanted. Hmm?
Yeah.
But what happened an hour later or two? You want a new orange because you have the desire for this orange and it's not
Mm,
getting away. It's getting more and more as more oranges you eat, right? But in family constellation work, we are peeling an onion. That means the first onion layer is peeled in a constellation that's the biggest, yeah, and lots of tears, as we know when we peel onions,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And there's another onion layer underneath. Of course, there is, right?
Mm,
So that needs to be peeled whenever in their own time, could be years or lifetimes in between or immediate, whatever is right for the family system. That is gonna peel and so on. Lots of tears, getting less and lesser. The onion peel gets smaller and smaller, and then you have the last peel, and what is in there? There's nothing.
mm,
The last onion peel is revealing nothing. And as opposed to the sweet orange, where we want more for, freedom and happiness lies where there is nothing.
yeah.
No
Onion
desire,
medicine, eh? Onion
no
medicine, we'll call
pain.
that.
Exactly.
I
And
like
that's,
that.
yeah, that's our work. And I'm very passionate and also very happy to be able to offer this work because I see this amazing result.
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking, you said earlier that you were in law.
Yes,
You
I
were
was a
in,
lawyer. Yeah.
and but not a criminal lawyer or a family lawyer.
No, no, no. I was a commercial lawyer. I was working for. Um, I was actually very specialized. I had actually quite a steep career in Germany. I was specialized in franchise law, and that was at that time. At that time, it's many, many decades ago, a new field in Germany, and it
Right.
swooped over from America, like
Yeah.
McDonald's and so on. And I was a young lawyer, fresh from uni, and I was specializing in that. And so I had the fortune to work with big companies and small entrepreneurs with great ideas, and we were working together to develop this franchise system tailored to Germany. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, and I wrote many books about it, and it was a fantastic work, and I was very happy. I was traveling a lot and had fantastic clients, very interesting,
And that's
job.
systemic work in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, if you will, it is already. Yes, it is a
Yeah.
system. Yes, it's a system. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So apparently systems are drawing my attention.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mm.
So you're running an animal sanctuary now and you're still holding regular workshops in person or
Yeah, a few, because as you know, New Zealand is very, very, very small populated,
yeah.
particularly on the South Island. So together, the family constellation enthusiasts from New Zealand, that's it doesn't happen very often. I have two regular workshops, one here in my area in Marlborough, in springtime, and in autumn, one in Christchurch. That's the capital city of the South Island of New Zealand. And
Yeah.
that's where I invite those who want to come to a day workshop and experience this in person. Um, and other than that, I have monthly online workshops where everybody can join from, obviously, from all over the world. It's at
Mm.
different times. It's all on the website with different time zone conversions. And
Really? So autumn, we're coming into autumn now. So when's your one in Christchurch?
That is in April, I think. I have to look it
Okay.
up. It's on our newsletter. It's not really on our website, but because it's more for the online work, our website. But
Yeah.
it's we are always announcing the in-person workshops in our newsletter that we are sending out to our subscribers.
Okay, I better
Mhm.
subscribe so I can get
Yes,
your
Lee, that
information.
would be lovely to see
It's
you,
good for
Tracy.
people to have that, like, yeah, there's the New Zealand, it was a page that I started years ago that was
Yeah,
just meant for me to share to my friends, and it's ended up
yeah.
going, "Ooh," but it's the New Zealand Family and Systemic Constellation page. So feel free to advertise on that too, because
Oh, lovely.
it goes everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
I often get messages from people asking me, "Hey, do you know when there's a constellation here?" Or so that's
I
really
will.
cool. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I want to come back to the animals. You got me curious. I asked
Yeah.
you about if you use animals, and you said they come in as representatives.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little dog. She does it too. She comes and tells me. She comes in, she'll come and go blow her little nose at me. I'm like, what? She'll look at me and I'll go, oh, something
And then
drops
you
in,
get it.
which is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. But I've also done a constellation for, well, I say it's for the dog, but actually it was for the human that the dog was living with. And it just shifted a whole lot of behavioral stuff that was going on. Have you ever done anything like that with your creatures?
I remember vividly a constellation in person where the issue was that the client, working on an issue, had family members represented, and there was a representative. We did not know who that was, or whom they was representing, who was kind of the key to unlock the secret around the trauma. And she, the client, then said all of a sudden, "Oh my gosh, that's my dog. That was my dog." I said, "Oh, right. So what happened?" And then she said she had to left her dog behind when she moved out of the country. And then when we applied, the healing movement for her to fix this wound, that was opened up there because it was a repetitive issue in the family system. It ran as a repetition in the family. Then, of course, for her and for her family system, there was a great release. The field gave her the information, it's your dog, so she could connect with the
Yeah,
situation, but the dog
yeah,
itself is standing for an ancient family member who was the first one who was left behind in this
yeah.
in this family
Wow.
system, right? So this
Yeah,
is how family constellations also work on multiple layers, and that's why the mind cannot or the intellect cannot really follow. It's really hard. Or when you, for example, when the client said, "Oh, I think that is me," like there's a representative in 3 or 4 generations before, and then all of a sudden, I think that is me. That is possible because the soul could incarnate, of course, and it does happily
yeah.
into the same family system. And it is very possible that that is the case. And so the information that we receive when we work with our clients, also coming from the clients, often as an insight, yeah, as a spontaneous insight. And so animals come through as well. That was what I remember very vividly, how that was kind of this information unraveling everything.
Fantastic. I love
Mm.
it. I love how they interact. And sometimes there's birds like looking in
Mm.
the window or or
Yeah.
you hear something outside. I remember I was on a marae in the far north, and through this valley in a distance I could see a dog, and it was just like looking directly at the marae and barking at us. And only myself and the client heard it. And the whole whanganui was full of people, but nobody else heard it.
Mm.
Only her and I heard the dog. And it was like it was calling. It was doing
Mm.
a karanga, a calling.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really touched her. But it was just like fascinating that only her and I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just
Yeah.
amazing how they can step in and be part of the field so easily. And there's no ego. There's nothing stopping them. They'll just be in and out. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how the representatives are also resonating with the field. There's no ego.
Mm.
That's also left, if you will, behind with the mind where the shoes are.
Yeah.
um, my students, when I work with them in the practice workshop, right, we do practice workshops, right? So I'm not like Bert Hellinger that I just tell them, follow me everywhere and you learn.
Yeah.
So I have a proper online platform with courses where the theory is all recorded with demonstration videos, with drawings and all of that. And then we have
Mm.
practice groups, right? So we gather every month and then they, under my guidance, they facilitate and then for each other. And so they learn and come into their own power and learn and making mistakes and correcting them and so on. And that's exactly where the place where I feel like is where you are really connecting with, excuse me, with the morphogenetic field is where you are without ego, right? And that's why we love the work. And they say
Mm.
they love it. They just love it because, excuse me, the residues of my cold, because they love it so much, because they feel so uplifted in this
Yes.
work. And that's
Yeah.
only because you're stepping out of your ego and mind and you're connecting with the morphogenetic field and you are in this rhyme of compassion and healing and unconditional love. And that's why we love this work. Yeah, because it
Mm.
brings us to this place that we otherwise in a day-to-day moment are rarely touching because we are so busy. Excuse
It
me.
made sense to things that were happening to me for me, through me. So yeah, that was like, wow, okay, there's some it's happening in front of me, and I know this because it happened through me. So when I first met Family Constellations, it was like, oh, I understand it, but I didn't know why I understood it. But
Yeah,
it made sense to things that were happening. So
yeah,
it's great. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's very good. Do you have you worked with Bert and Sophie, obviously, and your friend who first introduced you to constellations? Are there any other teachers or people that have influenced you in constellations that you'd like to share?
Next to Bert Hellinger, who is my spiritual teacher and family constellation hero, if you will. I was also trained by Malcolm Southwood Healing. He is a spiritual healer, about the same age as Bert Hellinger, and I was introduced to him in Switzerland. He was working out of Basel at that time. He's English,
Hmm.
and I embarked. I was really called to do his work, and I embarked on a 1.5 years journey to learn some methods of emotional and spiritual healing. And that was not even the main focus. The main focus was the world he introduced me to that lies beyond our physical life. And the way that he could explain it and the way he could convey concepts that I always found difficult to understand. How birth and death, for example, work on a spiritual level, not on a physical level, what the soul is doing. Everything, that lies beyond our perception as a
Yeah.
and that was, I mean, I was always interested. I am interested in yogic, Vedic literature and the whole picture. That was always an attraction to me. But he could actually explain it and show it even, yeah. So I could experience it, which is important for me because I'm not a
Yeah.
believer. I need to experience things and then I understand them and then I can integrate them. And he was able to do that. And that was so eye-opening and that has influenced my work hugely. Because
Mm.
when we work with intergenerational trauma. That's well and good, but there is also individual trauma. Everybody experiences individual trauma, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
through birth, early childhood, or even a past life that is carrying over. And I have experienced that it is sometimes hard to um, kind of go in or find the intergenerational trauma when there is an individual trauma lingering around that is kind of blocking the
Yeah.
path. And and in order to do that, I also need to address that when I work with clients, and I also teach that in my course because it is part of the work when you want to provide the whole path of healing. for somebody that they are also able to go through individual trauma properly, to release it and with professional help. And that is what I learned from Malcolm Southwood. And I'm very grateful for him. So that is referring to rebirthing sessions
Yep.
or regressions into early childhood or working with attached energies. I have actually, interestingly, I have that quite a bit, and it happens in family constellations. So that is a very distinct movement that I see then in a family constellation, and that has then to do that this either family member or the client is burdened by an attached energy that needs to be released, and that we can do that actually in the family constellation. So there are some crossovers that
Yeah.
we can do, and Bert Hellinger has also done rebirthing in his family constellation. So a very hands-on method that he learned from Irina Prekov. I don't know whether you ever heard of her. She is big in Europe. She is, the English term in German is Festhaltetherapie. It's probably translated as holding tight therapy or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So what he has done and demonstrated and worked with in his family constellation workshops with clients when it was appropriate was a rebirthing process where he was representing the mother and hold the client tight so they
Yeah.
could go through the birthing process with him. And that is both family constellation because you're representing the mother and also rebirthing process, which is an individual trauma, not an intergenerational trauma. So that's what has influenced me then when I learned with Malcolm Southwood, and Malcolm Southwood and Bert Hellinger are my great teachers that I'm very very grateful for, and they are always feel like they're always behind me and guiding me.
Fantastic. It's beautiful.
Mm.
It- on that beautiful screen of you behind you as well, for those who can see. Yeah. And just imagine that you're able to lean into that support. They sound
Mm.
amazing. Well, I know of Bert Hellinger, so the other guy sounds pretty phenomenal
Mm.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think we'll leave it there today.
Hmm.
It's been wonderful to have you on here and to have this time to connect with you. And yeah, I will share your details on the web. As this goes out, we'll have a links to your online website, and people can look up and see when these workshops are available, and yeah, come and check out what you have to on offer.
But that's wonderful, Tracy. You did such a good work to bring this idea of family constellation out there with your podcast and your interviews. That's really appreciated, and I'm very happy to be here with
Thank
you
you.
today. It was a
Yeah,
lovely time to spend
yeah.
um, together, and hopefully I see you in person one
Yeah,
day.
hopefully that'll be lovely to see you
Hmm.
in person soon, sometime soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, my goal is to get the knowledge out there for people to understand, and for constellations to be something that that everyone knows about. Oh, there's an option. There's something different we can do that.
And they should. In Germany, they use it in schools and in
Mm,
prisons, and psychologists use family constellation, and it's like everywhere. It's nothing you need
mm,
to explain to anybody, right? It's
yeah,
a little bit different here. And in South America, oh, it's big, and in
it's
America, it's
very
also
big,
quite
isn't
big. In East Germany, it's quite big. Russia, even it's more like we are kind of in Oceania, in a little bit of a
it? Yeah,
valley of the unknown.
yeah, yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
We
We
do,
just
we
keep
do.
spreading the word.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today,
thank you,
and
Tracy.
look forward to seeing you again sometime.
Me too. All the best. Lots of
Thank,
love.
thank you for listening. Head over to Instagram and tell me what's resonated for you with this episode. You'll find me at tracy.cartwright. That's Tracy with no E, Cartwright. Or head over to my website, tracycartwright.co.nz, and receive a free audio with the gift from your ancestors. So until next time, be kind to yourself and have fun doing it.